left.
All right, yay, we are live. It's
Hello,
happened.
everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Jess is eating a bagel. I think. I don't know. It looks like something. Jess is like,
It's the worst thing I could eat is bread and butter. That's all it is. I'm so bad.
It's fine. It's okay. So as you can see by the banner scrolling on the bottom, today we're going to be talking about NSFW cosplay content. And NSFW spans quite a lot of people just assume that's lewds. It's not. There's NSFW has a much broader range than individuals realize. So we're going to be covering all of that today.
Right.
I'm going to be moderating because the most NSFW I've done is a swimsuit.
Sam,
It's all right. We love you.
I love you, Sam. You're so cute.
And even then, I was like, "Oh God, no!" Like
Don't
right
look
now,
at
I have like so
me.
much padding to hide everything right now because I'm just like, I'm in a swimsuit and a jacket and jeans. Like, Sam, you're covered. No. Yeah. So that's another thing too. Like talking about like body shy individuals, I can help you with that because I am body shy. I've been that way my whole life. But
I feel like we're just going to cover a lot this topic, so we'll try to keep it within the hour.
Right.
There's just so much to cover. There's cosplay and panels and the community in general and photography and the different kind of like offshoots that is the not safe for work. No, I'm excited. This is an episode I've been hyped about. I was the one who was like, we need to do it.
I mean, like, this is like literally my like entire life at this point is this sort of cosplay and this sort of community. So I'm very hyped for this. My OnlyFans and my Patreon, like, they kept me going for 5 years at this point. So
There you go.
I mean, I guess we should do proper introductions. Like, hi everyone, I'm Kii-Chan Cosplay. I'm from the Pacific Northwest. I do cons and stuff the most. I have a terrible online presence. But when it comes to conventions, these last couple of years, actually before the pandemic, I pretty much was just running not safe for work content. I was doing 18 plus panels 90% of the time with one or two like 101 cosplay or D&D panels kind of thrown in there just to make it even. But I ran everything. Well, my partner also does a lot of that, but we did a lot of like yaoi panels. We would do game show panels, all kinds of fun stuff. And so like, I'm no stranger to this content. I've been doing it for years, and I always found more fun in the adult side, the 18 plus side for running these type of things than the not so 18 plus side. So this is fun. And I'm cosplaying Kremvel from one of my favorite mangas of all time and now anime, Izushuku Reviewers. If you like nudity and stuff, look it up. If that's not your cup of tea, just pass it by. Just gonna say that.
all right, and then Kai, let's have you introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, I am Kai Lockhart. I also have Red Panda Kai on Instagram. I am a cosplayer by nature, a weirdo by life. I do a little bit of everything. I've done cosplay for a while. I do drag as well. And my not safe for work, I guess, usually goes along the lines of more so the performance side. So I've been a part of and helped run like not safe for, or not necessarily not safe for work, but like 18 plus match game panels, as well as just 18 plus panels in general, and even 18 plus lip sync contests and battles, which have been so much fun. And yeah, I usually am more open when it comes to the drag side, but with the cosplay side, I'm just like, I just want to have fun and just be the weird, sexy, not safe for work side. So that's my repertoire, I guess I should say.
I love the cosplay community's penchant for these sexy meme cosplays. Like, you were throwing out Waluigi and like Bowsette and stuff like that. And there for a little bit, it was like the Virgin Killer sweater. Like, cosplay really likes to edge into that. We're memeing,
Right.
We're sexy, and we're kind of tongue-in-cheek at the same time. So it's a lot of fun. But, hi, I'm Amber Brite. I am a professional prop maker here in Phoenix, but I also run both a Patreon and OnlyFans, which is kind of the other half of my livelihood. So I do anywhere from like 2 to 6 shoots per month, depending on how go-getting we're going at that moment. So I'd say the majority of my cosplay right now is lewd stuff. So done it a couple times.
And I'm Sam from ThermoCosplay. I have no experience with lewd other than a swimsuit shoot, which took 5 people encouraging me and telling me it's okay. Because I don't even like wearing bathing suits at the pool. Like, it's usually like layers. Anyways, people know me. So I'm going to be here helping to moderate and learn. And yeah.
Okay. Let me take that over from awkward Sam. She's
Thank you.
Okay, hi guys. I'm Jinx Cosplay. I've been cosplaying since 2001. I don't actually have that much experience in lewd cosplay, but I used to do a lot of modeling in the past. So I've done boudoir modeling, and et cetera, et cetera. I just haven't like mixed the two. I don't know why. I just kind of like, I don't know. I want to. I do sometimes. I dabble in it. If you saw my Instagram today, my husband was like, I saw your promo for the show today. I was like, oh crap, then I can't sleep in. If you haven't seen the photo, go check it out at my Instagram, the Jinx Cosplay. You won't regret it. So yeah, thanks guys for joining us. We are like, I know this is a little bit different than what we do, but we want to do different. So we love to hear all these different subjects. So you guys let us. This is a PG-13 shows app.
A plus.
You know what? That was even a candid, because I was like, we were shooting in my Jeep, but then I was like, oh, let me turn down the music instead of like, I just jumped in the window, and he's like, wait, because we were talking about panty shots, and I guess we weren't getting them right. And he's like, wait, this is the perfect panty shot. I'm like, oh, okay, ready, go. And then my husband's like, did you just shoot your butt out of the Jeep? I'm like, yes, I did. I'm like, okay.
I'm proud of it.
He's like, when are we starting the OnlyFans? Like,
What you gonna do about it?
Yeah, well, he wants me to make money about it. That's what he wants. And we got a couple of comments here. Anthony,
Good
thank you so much.
supportive partner.
Yeah, he's like, hello, we need to make some money. Got to buy another house. But I told him he has to learn how to photograph if he does it. So that's the problem that we're running into, because he's shit at photographing. Okay, anyway. Hi, Anthony. Thank you for joining us every week. Says he loves everyone. Hi, everyone on today's live stream. Love the diva outfit. Thank you. Especially love the costumes from everyone as well. Speaking of awards, Jinx, since they added crossplay, I'm looking forward to teaming up with you. Cool. Send me a message. Yeah, but let's go. Let's go, guys. You all pros.
Yeah, I think the first thing I really wanted to talk about was the importance of having an adult place that's safe for people to dabble in and have fun in. I mostly have done a lot of the convention stuff. I also have some like online adult spaces, but let's face it, like, we're adults, and after a certain point, you don't want to always have a censor bar over yourself. And of course, there's always going to be creeps, no matter where or what you do. And so it's important to have a good crew, a good community where we can discuss things, have safety nets, have proper safe words in place so everyone feels safe. Whenever I'm running panels at conventions, it's always been amazing, because half of the people in the room are usually people that are there and genuinely want to be involved with the 18 plus panel. The other half of the people are the introvert friends that were dragged along late at night with their extrovert friends who are just kind of there, and they're like, no, we're just here to observe, like, pretend we're not here. And 99% of the time, these people end up in my panel. They end up coming up and joining the panel. They end up being part of it. They end up acting in it. They end up joining the games, and they end up having a lot of fun. And I feel like it's so nice to see people realize that there's a comfortable space for them to do these things that they normally wouldn't have done. And it does help that most of these panels I run are at like 2 a.m. So we already have very little censor bars, but like, it's just so fun. And like, one of my favorite memories is bless this one guy. We were running, me and my partner, was my partner's panel. We were running a Yuri on Ice panel that was about raiding booties, like total yaoi. We were just having a blast. It was fantastic. And I almost felt really bad for the very normal, straight looking guard who was in our room, because the con we were at was very good about like IDing and checking and making sure each room was safe. So we had a door guard, and he just looked like the most normal, straight not here for the convention, but here because this is his job guy. And so we felt a little bad just like running this booty rating panel. By the end of that night, he was sitting in the front row and he was laughing louder than anyone else. He was enjoying every second of our panel. And I think that is the best victory. It's just like really and truly having a safe space, whether you're part of the community, whether you're introvert, extrovert, like just being able to be an adult and not have to think
Restrict
about,
yourself.
I don't actually is just really refreshing. And I feel like it's something that needs to be encouraged. And it's definitely, you got that argument between like lewds or non-lewds, or like if a cosplay does a lewd cosplay or a cosplayer does a lewd cosplay, like now is that what they're going to be known for? Is that what they do forever? Or is it just something fun because this is something they want to dabble in? And I think there just needs to be more safe spaces where adults can dabble in that without being considered a lewd cosplayer.
Right.
I think there's like this idea that some people have that, and I'm approaching this from the lewd cosplay aspect.
Perfect. Yeah.
That there is this like danger, or like lewd cosplay is like this dark, shadowy world or whatever. I will tell you, like shooting with close friends, shooting it with established people in the community, like Bald Pirate photography, like those are some of the times that I feel safest and most empowered, because a lot, like when you get into the boudoir community, if you advance into like the kink community, one of the things that comes up over and over and over is boundaries and consent. Your good boudoir photographers will discuss your boundaries and your goals and have a safe word ahead of time. And there's something really freeing, especially for if you grew up, like I grew up in a very Christian upbringing, so like sex was like, oh God, no, like not even like, you know, husbands and wives, because of course marriage is only between man and woman. Like
You
they
order
don't
that
even
baby.
talk about
That baby
it.
comes to the doorstep.
Yeah, the baby years. Like we don't have fun doing it or anything like that. But like coming from that kind of upbringing where this part of myself was so shamed, it was incredibly freeing to be able to put myself out in front of the camera and be like, no, look, I'm hot as hell. Like I'm awesome. Like this is fun. And I've been able to build a repertoire of both fans, like my patrons on Patreon and a lot of my longtime fans. You know, we're all in this to just have fun and to enjoy the fact that being sexy isn't bad. It's something to enjoy. So like I hate when people are like, oh, I don't want to deal with like creepy photographers and stuff. I'm like, then you're dealing with the wrong people, because the photographers I know are empowering and we have fun. And yeah, like Eric might yell at me, arch that booty more, but like he's doing it from a place of love.
Right.
And I
And see-
imagine like drag shows are a lot about community too, right?
Oh, for sure. And it's one of those situations where we as, you know, kings, queens, and in-betweens, like we have, when it comes to me being in drag, that is the only time when I say that I do not have a space bubble. But even with that, I still make sure that people know, like, okay, you know, I am in this costume. I am here to perform and to, you know, put on a show for you, but you need to know that I am still a person. Like I still, you know, if I say no, do not touch me, then yes, you cannot touch me. But that doesn't mean that I can't come out here and play the sexy role that I want to play, or play the goofy sexy role that I want to play. Or I've even had one show, it was a competition that we had been a part of called Atomic Drag Wars in the Tri-Cities. And with that, we had over 6 months, 6 different challenges. And one of the challenges was the comedy challenge. And so like, you know, I'm like, you know what? We're going to make this funny and sexy all at the same time. So we are going to go out there dressed up as Tina from Bob's Burgers, and we are going to do Anaconda by Nicki Minaj. We're going to have a reveal to like a snakeskin bodysuit that's going to have hamburger buns hanging from my butt, and it is going to be a blast. And that's the other pit, is that it doesn't have to just be like, some people think that not safe for work is just sexy nudity, you know, showing off every single bit, like completely exposing yourself. But not safe for work is much more than that. It is how you act around others, how you hold yourself around others, how you present yourself around others that showcases, okay, I can be inappropriate to my abilities and to my comfort level, and have that be what you perceive as my form of not safe for work. Because not safe for work can literally just be, oh, this person said a bad word, tee hee hee hee.
Mhm.
Whereas another thing can be like, oh my gosh, there's a boob, a full boob and a nipple. It is a thing. And there's so many different levels to it that people don't understand. And with drag, it's the exact same way. So you can have not safe for work be something where a queen is taking off literally everything but pasties in 3 spots on their body. And it could also be not safe for work as in the music choice that has like, it's dropping the F-bomb and the like B word and all this all over the place. And it's just, there's so many different levels. It's like an onion. We need to learn from Shrek.
Right.
Not safe for work is like an onion. It's got layers.
And
It should really be like,
with like, we see this with like sexy cosplay photography too. I've had newer cosplayers go, well, I don't want to do full nudes, and I go, baby, then don't. Like, don't. I don't.
Mhm.
I do implied nudes, and I do like lingerie and stuff like that, but I don't do full nudes, just because that is something that I decided I didn't want to do. And I have friends who do full nudity. I have friends who do like cleavage, and that's it. And it's if you're going into this, the only person who sets the boundaries is you yourself, like your comfort level. And those boundaries can change too. Like if I woke up tomorrow and was like, you know what, bear it all, let's do it. You know, my husband would be totally in on that, and that would be my choice. If I woke up tomorrow and was like, you know what, I don't want anyone seeing my boobs anymore, which I don't know I do that because they're like, boobs are great. But anyway, if I wanted to, I could say, you know what, we're taking it all down, and that's my choice. And
Exactly.
I think people get into this idea that they have to, like, if they're going to get into sexy cosplay, if they're going to get into drag, if they're going to get into 18 plus panels, they have to do it like all the way. And that's
like
just,
they owe it.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, like you have to. Once you get into it, like it's only a matter of time. Nah, I've been doing this for 5 years. I decided 5 years ago I didn't want to do full nudity, and I still haven't.
I think you should call. I think we should call it like not safe for HR. I think
Yeah.
that helps. I think that helps you understand it better,
Right.
because like there's tons of jokes and stuff that you shouldn't be telling in workplace or whatever, or shit that you'd say with your friends. You know, like whatever kind of lewd jokes or whatever. You know, like not safe for HR. I'm gonna make it right.
Well, and that's the whole thing is like, because me, I run 18 plus panels at every con. I make a lot of dirty jokes, but I don't have any like sexy cosplays. It's just even with my wonderful photographers who are safe and wonderful and do boudoir all the time, like I this is the sexiest you're gonna see me. Like I think I have like one Yuri and Ice picture of like a party Yuri that's a little sexy, and like that is the extent of everything. I prefer having the quieter cosplays. I have like one cosplay with my back showing maybe, but that's fine, because for me, my not safe for work content is running yaoi panels, talking about people's comfort with nudity, trying to get people comfortable with those things. I actually work all the time with my wonderful and amazing photographer friend, Reality Photography. Like she does some of the most amazing photo shoots, and she does a lot of boudoir. Like that is just her thing. And I love being her light monkey. I love helping make the ladies feel comfortable, and the guys. I love holding the light. I love moving the fabric around. Sweet child. I love that. Like I love being part of the community, and I am part of the community. Yeah, that's like my sexiest picture right there. That's it. That's all I have online. But like
That's gorgeous. And that's such a great example about how sexy doesn't have to be fully revealing. Like,
yes.
Right.
that is a very sexy photo.
Well, and it's like
I
when y'all pulled up the one of me that looks like almost completely bare chested, but it's got the mesh and like my arms are up. For me, that's one of my personal favorite photos that I've ever taken. And for me, that's within my comfort level. That picture, that is when I felt like looked at it once they were done, and I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, who is this? Who is this person? Like, and it is empowering. And even if I've got, whether it be, my drag king, my drag queen, or my in-between drag, like, as long as I feel comfortable and I feel like, you know what, I can walk out on this floor and be the shit, that's what's important.
Right.
So.
And like, I've had so much fun at panels, and like the most I've ever done is I've done a partial strip in a panel, and I was wearing long boxers, so it wasn't even like anything exciting, but it was all about like the acting part for me. Like it was specifically kind of, I don't want to say staged, but like
it's a mentality, like an attitude thing.
Exactly. And so I want people to realize that it's way more than just the nudity. It's about being in a space where you don't have to censor yourself, where you feel safe to be what you don't get to show off very often. I also feel like we haven't touched up a lot on this, but like online is also, it's just as censored as the rest of the world, because we do have a lot of young communities. And unfortunately, the one thing that websites don't have good things for is making sure those young people stay out of 18 plus communities.
I mean, it's a constant battle on like TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. And one of the things that I have to kind of constantly do on my social media sites is kind of censor my own crowd. We look at who's following us and who's like subbing and stuff like that. And if we're concerned about the age, a lot of that falls on us to kind of moderate and make sure that we're watching for that.
That's kind of like a little bit of why I kind of hold back, because I'm kind of like, I like to be a cosplay mentor. There are some young people that come up to me, and they, I have helped some people, and so that does like, it weighs on me a little bit, but at the same time, like I'm all into like, like individuality, like, empowerment, like doing your thing, like, so I believe that, teaching young people that it's okay to like, like express yourself, but at the same time, it's a thin line, isn't it? It's like, you should.
It is. It's extremely thin.
Yeah, like when you're old enough legally to do what you want to do, you should do it. But at the same time, like you're still 13, like don't get ahead of yourself, like.
It's because
I think that's why I find it hard.
It's so easy for the power balance when you have yourself out there and you're in a new situation, especially a situation in which you feel vulnerable. It's so easy for that power balance to shift. And like even I, as an adult woman, have had those situations with photographers. One of the ones here in Phoenix, who's just the worst. Like I've had photographers like pressure me to do stuff, and I, as an adult woman, was like, no, and we're done. But like it's one of those situations where the power balance can shift so easily if you don't have those tools to deal with it. Like,
it's so easy to do something that you're uncomfortable with, especially if you have somebody like pressuring you. I'm really lucky because the one I've done kind of like one, it wasn't even, I can't even call it like a boudoir, but like I did one semi-sexy shoot where I was in just underwear at one point. But I had thought about it for a couple of hours, and then I reached out to the photographer and I was like, yes, I had a lot of fun today, but I'm just not comfortable putting that online. And that photographer didn't put anything up. They took everything down. I know that they have a folder, but they keep a folder of all their photographers. I had a folder too, but it was just like they're just so respectful about not showing any of those pictures. And it's one about learning who you can work with that you feel safe with, but like just knowing that you are allowed to say no. Like I know a lot of people get really scared and they're like, well, if I do this thing, it's there forever. And it's like, yes, but you're allowed to say no. If you get to a point where you're uncomfortable, one of the most important things I have in my every single panel opens with a safe word. I go, this is an adult panel. We're going to be talking about content that might make you uncomfortable. If you're on stage at any point and you're uncomfortable, say this. We'll stop everything. The game stops. We turn it off. You can walk off stage. And we're not shaming you. We're not doing anything. We're looking out for your safety. And so we either use bubbles or biscuit. And like those are our two safe words. And it's like no matter what situation you're in, you can say that word and you're safe. And that's just how I feel like adult life needs to be treated. Is like if somebody's uncomfortable, they need to know that they can say no. And it's so important that you know that you have that power if you are getting in this world.
We've got a couple of comments here. Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna mention.
Oh no,
a comment.
go for it.
Anthony says, happy 20th anniversary. Thank you. He says, are you guys looking forward to the newest Space Jam movie? I only just saw a poster like the other day and I was like,
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, so I thought that
Sorry,
was
but I grew up with the OG Space Jam. I've performed as Bugs Bunny to the Space Jam song, and Michael Jordan is just the end all be all. I keep telling myself the only reason I would potentially watch it is if there was a cameo of Michael Jordan in it, and it's like, don't get me wrong, LeBron James is a great human being, but he's also really annoying to me, to be real honest. I'm just like,
I imagine Michael Jordan would probably, he has to make some sort of cameo.
If he does, that's the only reason I would watch it.
And then Vaughn is watching us from YouTube. He says, howdy, y'all. Thanks for joining in every week, Vaughn. And I'm sorry, go ahead, Kai. I'm sorry. I just don't like to go too far with comments.
No, you are totally fine. I was just going to say, I think the other thing that we need to, like, what some people need to realize is that, you know, there are like so many different types of like popular cosplayers like all over social media right now. And what some people think is that, oh, well, you know, if I want to make it out on top, or if I want to, you know, be this super popular cosplayer that everyone is looking at, I have to do something not safe for work. I have to do something sexy. I have to do something that is exposing myself to the world. And that is not the case at all. Like, you do not have to do anything that is without like that is outside of your comfort level. You do not have to do all of these other things that people expect for you to do to be, you know, in these like higher up tiers of the cosplay like popularity community. You can if you choose to, but again, it's all about choice. If you choose to do it, that is all your decision. No one can pressure you.
Too.
Yeah,
like,
it is extremely subjective.
Yeah. I mean, I've been sponsored by Warbla and the cosplaysupplies.com, and I've had guest spots and speaking spots, and I don't even have 2,000 people on Instagram or Facebook. I just am very good in my local community, so it really depends on how far you want to reach too, right? So you have to determine what your limits are and set those boundaries in advance so that when you start working towards your cosplay goals, you're not you know, going against what you consider, you know, your moral standpoint.
Right.
So
sorry, I'll be back.
Okay. We actually talk about this a lot because I have two very different sides to what I do. I have the prop maker side, and then I have the sexy cosplay side. And guys, when I tell you that the demographic is kind of like this, like there's a tiny overlap, but mostly the demographic is like this. The demographic is like this. It's two completely different audiences that you're looking at. And you can build an audience that is appreciative of both. But like, if you look at the number of people, just the sheer number of people in the world who are interested in cosplay craftsmanship, that is just by its nature going to be smaller than the number of people in the world who like to look at boobs. And this is just everywhere. If you have a larger population that you're kind of pulling from, it's easier to get those growth in those numbers. But here's where it comes back is numbers don't necessarily translate to profit, to being able to get guest spots, to being able to do stuff like cosplay full time. It is easier to monetize off of a smaller population that is there for your prop making than it is to monetize off a larger population that's only there to see boobs. Because the long and the short of it is there's a lot of boobs out there, which is great. We love boobs. Like, yes, awesome. But you can see cosplayers who have big numbers, but cosplay is not their full-time job because they're not monetizing that demographic, and that demographic is not as easy to monetize. So like it drives me insane when people are like, oh, well, if I want to make it in the cosplay world, I have to do lewds. I'm like, okay, but that's not like that's a subset of the cosplay world.
Look at like Melinda Chan. Like, she is one of my absolute heroes, and she is fantastic. She has never once done a Ludi cosplay. Like, she has a ton of fans, she's a ton of numbers, she's amazing at what she does. It's really just about like what niche you want to be part of. Like, I have a fairly decent reach, and I've never done anything Ludi. Like, I mean, Sam does way better than I do. So
you've got Kamui cosplay, you've got Lightning cosplay.
Yes.
Those are very build centric. If you are in the Star Wars community, you know Amanda Lorian, and she does these beautiful Star Wars builds. Like, there are plenty of cosplayers who don't do sexy stuff that get these partnerships and have built this emphasis on crafting. It's easy to get likes with boobs, but then it's harder to monetize. That is the long and short of it. Like,
yeah, I do have to say that like my most popular photo on Instagram is my Bowsette. And it wasn't even showing my butt. Like, it was the front part of my Bowsette, and that got like 10,000 reach. And I was like, holy crapola. But you know, I still mix it up.
What photo do you have on Instagram that has the most comments and conversations on it? Because I see this all the time where like my Melina photos and stuff like that, they'll get a lot of views and they'll get like just empty comments like, wow, great, totally hot, blah, blah, blah. Which I love hear that people find it hot. Like, I'm not saying don't leave those comments. Like, those are great comments. Thank you. But then I'll put up a picture of like, I did my Rayla horns recently, and I had like 5 or 6 conversations on that post, which is a different sort of engagement. And if that's the engagement you're going for, it's a more meaningful engagement. So
yeah, I definitely like to mix it up. Like, you know, it's like, yeah, I like being sexy. Like I said, I used to model, I used to do runway shows, lingerie, whatever. So doing that in cosplay is just natural for me. It's just that like what weighs on me is, of course, like, the, you know, inspiration for the younger crowd, which is still something I'm kind of like working with myself.
Yeah.
But let's see. So actually, Anthony had a question. He does say he loves the Raven costume behind you, Amber.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. And then
Raven on the top, Morgan in progress on the bottom, and then a random blonde wig.
Yeah. And then
I don't have a costume I'm working on right now, so it's just
I'm working on a bunch of different ones too. He says, I was wondering if you ever feel uncomfortable when revealing your booty in your Bowsette costume. So I love my butt. I'm an Asian with a butt, and like even other Asians are like, whoa, you have a butt. And my husband likes my butt. Like butt. Like, I don't have a big rack, but I got a cute butt. So I'm fine. Like, I get people can be like, oh, I like, if you like it, show it, you know. I mean, I do like that. I would show it more again if I didn't have this like inner like conversation in my head. But I've, you know, I have like a thong bathing suit I wear to Vegas, but I wouldn't wear that to like a family pool. But to Vegas, hello, you know, like, so I love it. It makes me feel good to show it off because I think people don't expect it from me to have a nice butt. So that's just me. That's just all me, and it kind of, I feel empowered when that's like out there.
And I'm gonna say on the flip side of that, because I have a really hard time with my female characters. I feel way more comfortable when I'm cross-playing or I'm playing a they today, which makes me super happy. My first they character. But it's just really, for me, I feel very empowered doing like ROM, like that back picture is one of my favorites, or this one from the same shoot. All of my Haru pictures, I feel so empowered. With Holo, on the other hand, or like D-Lit, yes, I feel pretty, but like, it's a different kind of like, I have the shyness, I guess, with my Holo, because one of my dream cosplays is to do a tasteful nude shoot as Holo. Like, someday I seriously want to just get over myself and do a tasteful nude because it's Holo. I mean, why would I mean, you can cosplay Holo without nudity, but like, it's just one of those things.
Right.
But I just haven't gotten there yet. But I can show off my chest with Nagisa and Haru and all those other things just fine, and like have no qualms at all. I love showing off my chest. I love doing open binding, but only when my boobs aren't present. And so I have just this kind of I guess I'm comfortable when I have certain things that I'm doing with my body, and I'm comfortable when I'm not doing certain things, which is, I guess, some weird level of body dysphoria that I never knew I had. But like stuff like this, I feel very sexy and very comfortable. That first picture of Haru that Sam showed earlier, with just my chest, like I was like, damn, I look good. And but like that's the type of stuff that makes me comfortable. And so really and truly, you don't have to show all the goods or your booty or anything, though you have a very good booty, Jinx. Like, I'm just saying, like, do what you think makes you feel sexy. If just like showing your back makes you feel sexy, then do it. If open binding makes you feel sexy, then do it. Like, I'm working on some Shibari stuff right now. Some ideas throwing around there, but they're all going to be for my male costumes. And sadly, I'm really sad that I still get this because it is really like pushed that like, oh, well, why don't you do it with like one of your girl characters? And I'm like, do you follow my cosplay page at all? I have a handful of girl cosplays, but they're very empowered, strong, main female characters. Deedlit from Lotus War, Holo from Spice and Wolf, these girls that obviously top from the bottom. And like, that's just the type I like. And so the cosplays that I'm going to do Shibari with, I want to be telling the story, because for me, Shibari is about the art form. I spend a lot of time studying Japanese. So I've been working really hard at learning Shibari and researching and studying and making sure it's safe, because it is not something you just do on a whim, guys. Please realize that there's health precautions involved. If you're interested, go find a teacher. Don't just use YouTube. Like, know what you're doing.
Don't just Google and go. This is a go learn from someone.
I have a genuine somebody who's teaching me how to do Shibari when I have questions and stuff. So I feel safe to do this, but it's something I'm working on. But I want to do it for a male costume, and it is a little like disheartening when somebody's like, "Oh, well, why don't you cosplay this girl character?" And or
I don't want
why
to.
aren't you doing? Yeah, it's like, why aren't you doing that? And it's like, I understand you want to see me in cosplay, but like, if you follow my channel, you should know the type of cosplays that I do. And you should know that the cosplays you're suggesting to me are cosplays I probably would never do. Right. And so it's very disheartening, and you're just going to come across that because there's going to be creeps in the community and stuff like that that are just here for the sexy. Don't let that discourage you. Like, still do what you want to do. Like, my Dobby is one of my most watched videos on TikTok. And like, I'm so proud of that piece, even though it's inaccurate. Thank you, manga. But like, it still makes me really happy because it's like, that was a really pretty piece. I was really proud of the effort I put into it. And I did a male sexy cosplay and it got a little attention, at least more than my females do. And I'm like, hey, that's the type of content I want to work on. And so that's what makes me happy. And I want to keep working hard at that. And so really and truly, don't be discouraged, because you're going to get that. And you can either disengage. Usually for me, the thing I do is disengage. If somebody comments on those kinds of things, I'll just say, oh, thank you. Or I just won't comment at all. That's usually the safest bet. If you're getting stuff like that, if you are genuinely being harassed, please block them, do whatever that social media site needs to get rid of them. But like, honestly, you're just going to get a bunch of nobodies online saying things, and the best thing you can do is just ignore those comments.
I always tell people, just don't take ownership of those comments. You know, I used to, or take ownership of them if you want. Like one of my cosplays that I did when I was new was Cammy from Street Fighter, and it rapidly became a cosplay I couldn't do because every time I wore her, I got a comment about how I was too skinny. Like, every fucking time. And I'm just like, this is exhausting. Like, this is honestly exhausting. So I retired her. And I was like, I'm never going to do a fighting game one at cosplay again. And then I ended up doing Melina. And I was like, you know what, Street Fighter community? You know what, Street Fighter community? I'm gonna give you some love. So then I did Zangief, because if I'm going to be a skinny white girl being told that she's too skinny for doing stuff, I'm going to do the fucking bear character. So this was me kind of like, I call it my spite cosplay, but it was also about me reclaiming those comments and being like, okay, go ahead, comment on it. That's kind of what I want you to do with this cosplay. So
it's you taking that power back from what they took from you originally, because that does seem to happen a lot, unfortunately, in the cosplay community, and even so much so in like the drag community, because I've had many people tell me, oh, well, you know, you're and I love how that looks. Anytime I see anything beard and boobs in one picture is the best thing ever.
Oh my god, that chest bra is so uncomfortable though. It just like,
But that really is the thing where, you know, even in the drag community, I've had people come to me and they're like, oh, well, you know, and they'll make it about not even necessarily like a body type thing, but they'll make it in my case, they'll make it a race thing. They're like, oh, well, you know, you're just not quite like the sexy, like blackness that's needed for that kind of song. It's like, okay, then I'm just going to ham it up and make it even whiter because that's the other half of me.
Mhm.
So it really does. And it kind of goes into, because we all own our own like sexiness in our different ways. For me, I do it with my face and my makeup as well as my legs. So like my one of the pictures on there, my Axel, which that's the same wig that I use for Axel, not gonna lie. But my Axel, just for me, like I was fully clothed, giant cloak, but just the face in general, I was like, ooh, I feel really hot just in the face. And as well as that, but anything where I can kind of show off my legs, because I am literally legs for days, torso for like 2 seconds. But anytime I can show just the crazy long length that is my legs, I feel amazing. Like I feel like I can run the world. I feel like I can, take over anything. And it's because of that I feel my own empowerment by taking back from others who are like, oh, well, you're too skinny for this, or you're too tall for this, you're too short for this, like you can't do this, you can't do that. It's like, no, you're not the one who's in charge of my finances or my happiness. I'm the one that's in charge of that. So I'm going to be the one that owns anything that you try and take from me, because it's not up to you to decide on what I do and do not do. It's up to me. And also, so that that one right there is the perfect example of me just feeling my oats and feeling my sexiness oh my gosh, why am I suddenly forgetting his name? But that was the start of a cosplay that I was doing for the Adventure Zone. And oh my gosh, why am I forgetting his name all of a sudden? I have 2 unicorn horns for him.
I don't watch
Garrel.
Adventure Zone,
Garrel?
so I don't know.
Says Garrel.
Yes, thank you. I'm like,
Okay.
I have his name. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I'm not looking at my phone and the print is too small for me to read it. But yes, it's him. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm a unicorn.
And I would say that like with my sexy cosplay, there are always those comments and stuff like that. But for me, being able to look at myself growing up, and I think it's a story that is familiar with a lot of people growing up as like the awkward teen, right? Like avoided photos. My younger sister was taller and prettier. And she went to like modeling school and stuff like that. I was like just the smart one. Like that's what I was. I was the one who read. I was the bookworm. Being able to put up photos and be like, damn, look at my eyes, look at my jawline. Like being able to look at things that I had previously kind of felt bad about, and being able to appreciate that was absolutely like the biggest thing for me. And the part that I love the most about sexy cosplay is that being able to appreciate myself. And that is for me why I kind of keep doing it, because I enjoy what I'm creating for myself, and then I enjoy creating it and sharing it with people and having that appreciated by other people. But if you're the type of person who that doesn't bring you joy, then like don't do it.
I also, sorry, are you good?
I was just gonna say I get terrible stage fright. I don't enjoy being up on stage, so I would not find it rewarding to be in a drag show. But like that doesn't mean it's not empowering for other people. It's like different folks, different strokes, I guess.
And like what I want to say for you, especially, like your sexy cosplays are phenomenal, and you put a lot of effort into them. And that's the thing I don't think people get is a lot of
cosplayers who says sexy cosplay is easy cosplay.
Yeah.
Oh no.
This was the topic I wanted to bring up.
Cool. Just a few days ago in heels that were like 6 inches tall. I'm like, you're gonna die. My pole don't die.
And that's the thing. Like,
She's
I think a lot of people,
I got it. I'm okay. I'm like,
we have the stigma that just because it's a couple pieces of fabric that it's not easy to make. And like
you just like glue stuff down to keep it down, because it is.
I have tape on right now. I have literal loads of tape on me right now.
There's so much engineering that goes into it. It's like
yeah,
it doesn't like
you have to do this in the heat or
the detail
cold.
work.
Like you see all these like people in snow, they're probably dying, but they're getting good shots in it. And
I'm in the snow in a bikini. Like, don't tell me that sexy cosplay is easy. That was the worst moment of my life, and I was so cold.
I wore holo in the snow and I cried. Like, I could never go to the length that people do for their cosplay. I just know that off the bat. But I want people to know that, like, sexy cosplay is not easy. Like, this costume took more effort than my Haru. This took more effort than Aladdin. I had to do the wings and the halo, the dress. I bought it, but I had to do tons of alterations to it. Like, I made a prop for it. Like there's so many little tiny details, not even to mention this wig was originally curly and I had to straighten it and style it. Like this costume took more hours than my Aladdin cosplay that gets a lot of attention and love. That one was just like, I made a vest.
And that's all the effort. When you're not wearing much, your posing is even more vital. Like that's the thing that people don't understand is that you have a big armor and a big sword. Like if you're not turned perfectly, you're fine because you've got the big armor. And like if you've got like a helmet, you've got a helmet on. And Sam can attest that like when I'm doing like sexy shoots, like the posing is everything. And oh my god. That was so cool. It was the coolest I have ever like experienced in my life.
It looks amazing though.
Oh, thank you. Like that's one of my favorite pictures of all time. It was totally worth it. Not pictured is right off to the side, like literally 2 feet away, was one of my big burly friends in like a long jacket. And as soon as we were done shooting, I popped up and like tackled him and he like wrapped me up to keep me warm. But like if you don't have much on, like your posing becomes all the more important and you don't have as much to hide behind, so it's almost more work than wearing a bigger costume, like because you have to be on point and your facial expression, and you have to arch and tighten your tummy, but don't tighten here. You can't look like you're concentrating, but you got to concentrate.
That's me in Widowmaker for sure. When I'm wearing Widowmaker, I don't breathe. I'm like, and I can't smile either. I gotta be like.
And it makes me really sad that a lot of people who have these comments of like, oh, well, it's just a sexy costume. They didn't put any effort into it. These are the cosplayers that like, they're a huge part of the community, and like. They're not even the bad people. Effort. Yeah, they're not even like the bad people in the community. It's just they're very insecure, I think, about themselves and the fact that they could never do something like that they have to find something to pick on to be like, oh, well, they didn't put a lot of effort into their costume, so therefore mine is better. And
Can
it's
I talk
like,
a little bit about old stuff when you're done?
So I just want to say, like, it doesn't matter if you're wearing minimal clothing or if you're full body. Like, some of Kai's costumes and drag stuff are amazing, and they're just like head to toe, but they're amazing. Like, there's so many different levels of that comfort we've been talking about, whether it's a bikini or whether it's full body. Like, there is a lot of effort that goes into this community, and you should never put anyone down just because they're wearing something that's quote unquote sexy.
Yeah. Just really quick, just as a side note, if you're okay with closet cosplay, but you're not okay with sexy cosplay, you're fucked in the head. So
yeah.
It's the same thing.
So I always do my, and wow, guys, we are like 10 minutes out. Like, this is amazing. We've had so much to talk about. I always have to do my spiel about some way back when conversation. So obviously I've been cosplaying for a very long time. And this is kind of just like my little story. So obviously cosplay back then, it was so much more elitist. It was such a much smaller community. And it was like the hardcore fans were cosplayers.
I'm pretty sure I know what you're about to talk about. So I'm going to share this photo. I think I know what you're saying.
Okay. Which photo? That is a sexy costume. So this was 2008, and back then, like, sexy costumes were like kind of looked down upon, like, oh, she's just a fangirl or whatever. Oh, she's just whatever. So I even had some issues with other girls. Like, that's the sexiest I would go. I'm wearing a bra on my top. And I even had some like issues with like, oh, that girl, why is she wearing that? Or, and that was all because of me. And of course, as I've grown up, I've become more comfortable with myself and like more empowered. And I think this has a lot to do with like women in general in society. It's like, oh my God, if you're trying to be sexy, again, you're a whore, you're a slut, you're a stripper, whatever. Which of course, like we don't judge sex work either, because your life, your choice. But all of that came into play into cosplay because we were already a minority as it was. And then, of course, like, oh my God, you're a good looking geek and you want to look sexy. No, you're not a real fan, And there was all these kind of like stigmas that came with being sexy in cosplay. And it feels weird to say that, like, you're kind of looked down upon if you're like Yaya. Oh my God, Yaya got so much crap all the time. Because she just was doing her thing. And now look where she is. She just kept doing her thing. And she's like the most successful cosplayer ever. So it's hard because nowadays there are still issues with the whole lewd cosplay, boudoir cosplay. But you know what? I think it's cool that we've managed to break up into subcultures, because it makes it, more accessible to more people. We can now kind of make it more of a regular hobby, instead of just this thing that extreme fans do. Oh, there's another sexy cosplay as my Tonberry is sexy. It's literally 2 strips of fabric and like a cloak.
I mean, there's still so much societal pressure for women to always be sexy, always be sexy. So I feel like no matter what you do, cosplay, crossplay, whatever, you're going to get, when are you going to do sexy shoes, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I do lewds, and I still get people go, when are you going to do full nudes? When are you going to do, there's always this pressure. But I think we're doing a lot more to kind of reclaim it for ourselves, to reclaim our spaces, and to reclaim our community, to be like, yes, this is an aspect of our community, but it's not a requirement.
Another thing is that like women, like, and this is still seems to be something that needs to be debunked, but women, anybody that does anything sexy, are doing it for themselves. Like, I feel so good about myself when I feel sexy. Like, yeah, of course my husband loves it, but it's like, and some people are like, oh, how does your husband feel about that? He's like, you think this gray is hot? His wife looks hot. Like,
my husband does all my photography. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
I think it all has to do with
photos I have. Like, it's
it all has to do with like the comfortability with yourself. The trust that you have in yourself and your partner or whoever it is. It's hard because society still doesn't get it. Like, it's gonna be a long time. Like, yeah, I'll post a sexy picture. I showed that picture to my husband and he liked it. He wasn't gonna be like, don't post that. Because if he said that, I'll be like, well, screw you, because I'm gonna, and that's a thing. Like, we women, it's hard, especially me as an Asian woman. Can you believe it? Like, the Asian, and that's kind of why I held back for so long, was because I was in pageantry and I was in the Asian community. So I really kind of like had to, like, I even had a year when I was Miss Asia Arizona, I was like, cannot show boob, and it was difficult because, especially as an Asian woman, there's so many more expectations for you. I have tattoos, I have like, green hair, like people are like, what the heck? You're not like a typical Asian. I'm like, I know, I am me, So there's so many barriers that women, minorities, everyone has had to break through. And it's even harder in cosplay because, again, that's like, cosplay still new, it had some kind of like assumed guidelines of like, okay, you're a geek, all this elitist and gatekeeping. And now that it's become so much more popular where you can buy stuff, even sexy cosplays you can buy, there's still a lot of judgment. But I feel like, hey, if you're watching and you are like, oh, I want to wear a sexy, just wear it. Like, and if people say shit, you block, delete. Don't even give them like a second thought. Someone says something shitty, just delete, block, block. No response. Get it out of your mind.
Don't let them take that power from you.
And that's where I want to end this conversation, is the fact that we as adults deserve to have safe spaces online and at conventions where we can talk about this, where we can discuss this. I think it is so, so important that conventions do have a time where they can just be like, okay, minors no longer allowed. Let's do stamps. Let's do bracelets. Everybody has to prove that they're 18 plus, and let's have fun. Like, I think that this is so important. And one of the things, like, I have a love-hate relationship with SoccerCon, but one of the things that has really killed the convention for me is the fact that they've been taking away the 18 plus. They've been taking away the adult time in the end. They're making it a less 24-hour convention. And I went from running 4 or 5 panels there a year to only running 1. And I was like, you're obviously censoring my content because I'm somebody who has been here. I've been working here for a long time. I've been doing lots of panels here for a long time. Why am I only getting one panel suddenly? And like, I understand that companies have the right to decide to be family friendly, especially because we have a lot of nerds that are now having kids.
I hate that phrase. I hate that phrase so much.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, though, is most states have curfews, right? It's usually between 9 and 10, where if you're under 18, you can't be out. Okay, so what's the point in not having after 9 o'clock adult programming? Why can't we do that?
I just, as a childless woman who does not want children, I hate the whole family friendly thing, because that's insinuating that my family not having kids is invalid. I have issues with that phrase, and I hate the puritanical culture, the heteronormative culture pushed behind it. So when people are like, "Oh, we're going to be family friendly," and I'm like, can you just say that we're going to be minor inclusive? I'd rather have that. Like, I don't think minors should be exposed to some of the adult stuff, but stop saying family friendly when you mean minor inclusive, because my family's valid and we have kids everywhere. So
we've only got 5 minutes.
Sorry, that's why we really need to push this. We need to let conventions know that we want to make a safe adult space, that there are people willing to step up, become door guards, do badge checking, willing to run a healthy, safe panel with safety standards, so we can enjoy ourselves and people can come and be themselves and find a part of themselves that they didn't even know that they had. And so that's why I wanted to have this episode, really, was to discuss the fact that this is important and it needs to be said.
We have a lot to say on this, because it's we've got 4 minutes, guys, but I do have a question that I want everyone to be able to answer. So you guys ready? We have something else, or can I ask the question? Because she says, Anthony wants to know why can't I read today? Question for everyone: which cosplay costumes do you like dressing up as but would feel uncomfortable in? So let's start with Kai. What do you think? Something that you want to do? Oh, Amber?
Well, I was just going to say, because it's really funny, the costumes that make me uncomfortable are male presenting costumes. And just to kind of show, growing up, I was very flat chested, and that caused me a lot of anxiety. So costumes in which I am male presenting give me a lot of anxiety for myself. I don't feel comfortable. So
that's funny that you say that, because as a child, I thought I sounded like a boy. I was really hairy, so I don't do a lot of male presenting costumes either. It's the same. That's funny.
I'm the total opposite. I was very feminine. I have a very round face. I grew up fast for my age. I had boobs in middle school, which of course causes issues. And so when I was able to dress up as a boy and be a male and have these masculine characters, I really felt empowered. And so for me, I have a hard time with my girls still. I have a couple of girl costumes. I'm trying to get better at putting more girl costumes on. I guess my uncomfortable costume that I really want to do would be to actually be able to do a tasteful nude of Holo from Spice and Wolf. I would love to feel confident enough in my body to be able to do something like that with the character that I
seriously, when you come to Phoenix,
okay.
or when we go to ECCC, we'll get a hotel room and we'll all be in there and cheer you on.
I got you.
All right, thank you.
I love mentoring people new to boudoir, because I remember for me, the first time I did a boudoir cosplay, and I remember the moment that Bald Pirate showed me the photo, and I was just speechless, because I was like, that's me? I'm hot? So I love giving people the opportunity for that moment. So if you're in Phoenix and you want to get into boudoir stuff, but you don't know who to go to, just talk to me. I got you.
And how about you, Kai?
So for me, kind of similar to what Kii-Chan said, I am very, very comfortable in male cosplay, and I've gotten better even in more so in my female cosplays. But one that I am very, very much looking forward to, which I haven't really spoken out so much so about doing just yet, is Mirko from My Hero Academia. So she is way, way up there on my list. She's my Yes. She is she's my baby, and I'm super excited for her, but I just know that, like, because I am along the thinner side, it's like, okay, you know, I don't have much of a chest, I don't have much hip, but you know what? I was basically at this point like raised by drag queens, so I will be soon investing in my own silicone breastplate, as well as just getting some hip pads, and it's like, okay, I am fully clothed, but I feel so sexy because enough is exposed, and that's all that matters.
That's totally
I have 2 pairs of silicone breastplates because all of this is like foam padding. I like no.
Are we like touching our boobs now?
Yeah, this is nothing.
Yeah. I put padding in everything because I'm very small chested, but I have like a whole bunch of butt. So
and see, I have no butt either.
I bought mine and it was the best decision I've made for myself. My body dysphoria went just gone.
I want some too. We'll see after kids, maybe. But Sam, what about you? What
so mine's really weird. I don't care what gender the costume or the character recognizes. That I can tackle. Mine is weird. If it potentially shows my nether regions or it shows my arms, I'm uncomfortable.
Well, nether regions make sense. I mean, that's kind of more something behind closed
doors.
I
have a hard time with anything that's like a bodysuit. Like when I did KDA RE, I was so nervous, and I purposefully bought this expensive pair of dance tights in my exact skin tone and sewed them up into it to make sure, like, I had to get into this costume weird just to make sure that I was not potentially showing the lower bits.
And that's fine.
You look good though. You look so cute.
Do we need to have like a tutorial on how to like hide camel toe and make your lady bits?
Oh, I don't have that. No, that's not it. It's the fear of potentially exposing a lip.
But see, that's what dancers tights. Dancers tights are like.
That's what I bought. I bought really good dance tights. They're amazing.
Whenever I can get away with it, I do dancers tights. Unfortunately, I usually wear too little, but like, I love them. They're great.
Yeah, no, I have to wear dance tights, and I usually have to wear something like arm socks because I have a really hard time showing my arms.
But look at Sam.
I have really good arms for a girl.
You're in these boots? Dang.
That's all natural booty too. Everyone thought I padded it. No, that's just me. That's just me.
So cute.
I did have like a lot of padding in the chest that day to try and like, I had silicone pasties on, pushing them in, and padding to try and just give it something.
This was one of the funnest groups I ever did though. And
I'm glad that you 113 that day though. Oh my god.
I'm glad that you stepped out of your comfort zone, Sam, because I had so much fun with you guys. And I think that was the most memorable thing was having
fun. That's another thing. Like if you feel uncomfortable but you want to kind of branch out, get a couple friends who are in the same boat as you that are like, well, I kind of want to test something out, but I'm not sure what I want to do. Usually your bad decisions start with your friends. Just do it.
I feel like Sam,
the best thing you can do is if you're doing a sexy shoot and you're unsure about yourself, get one of your unabashedly just hype woman. Like, I will be over there and be like, yes, girl, get it. Shake that booty. Like, just get somebody to just fucking hype you up. And
also, if you don't know your photographer or the people you're working with, make sure you have a friend with you. Period. Just you have to have somebody with you always. And if they say you can't, then walk away.
Buddy system.
That the boudoir photographer I work with oftentimes asks for you not to bring your significant other because he finds that increases like the awkwardness, but they should always want you to bring someone. So he's like, I prefer not to be your significant other, but you should bring somebody to be with you and hype you up.
Right.
So.
And as somebody who's been like a light monkey and stuff, like one of my favorite things to do is like we did this beautiful shoot in Seattle with this beautiful bed and breakfast place. And I remember one of the girls was like sprawled across the bed. It was a Fate's Stay Night character. And I was like holding the light, but I was like, wait, stop. And then I like rearranged the costume because I knew how it was supposed to look, but the photographer didn't quite know. And so I was able to kind of like drape it how I feel like it'd be like, that looks more like the show. Went back to my light job. But having a friend who recognizes your costume, knows your costume.
Yes.
This for all photography, who can look at your costume and be like, "Oh, your necklace is flipped," or "Oh, push your hair back a little bit." Somebody who can be there to kind of
tunnel
watch.
vision. Like they get focused on lighting and stuff like that. Then they don't see, like, I had one photo shoot that we just did the other day where I'd like run my hand through my wig, and for the rest of the shoot, I had this like horrible like loop in my wig, and I was like, "Honey, like, why didn't you friggin' see that?" And he's like, "I was concentrated on making
they aren't paying attention."
If anybody wants, ask me, because I've done like art direction for some of my photographer friends. I'm really good at the details. So ask me, I will make sure you look the best.
James, you can answer the question.
I did. Well, I guess I kind of piggybacked off yours, but for me, like, and this is going to be my personal body comfortability. And I know people are like, "Oh, but you're this and that." I actually am in a weight that I'm not super comfortable with right now. So anything that's like showing my middle, because all my weight goes to my belly, like, and you just saw me eating bread and butter. So anything that shows my middle right now is not something that I'm super comfortable with, but I've discovered a high waist and that's been good. But there's like some really sexy stuff that I love to do that I just don't feel comfortable in right now, just because I'm not in the body I want to be in right now. So, but that's just me. So I admire people that, like, you know, love themselves and do it, but I'm not there just yet.
Societal expectations of what a woman should look like. Thanks. We love you. Not.
But also carbs. I actually have a health condition. I need to avoid carbs.
No,
so
you know
it's both things.
Chub is attractive. I like chub. I want more of it. Like,
you can touch my chub.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
This
sorry.
is the not safe for work that we were trying to avoid at this point.
I know, it's like, sorry guys. Matt Black did leave a comment. He's again, after dark portion of the con. I know you wrote that quite a while ago, but I hope that we can, you know, make some changes in the con world, especially I think since it's been a whole year off. I think cons are going to be more susceptible to feedback and suggestions now than ever. So I think that if you guys do feel that you could send some suggestions, do it. I mean, the worst thing they could do is they just won't answer. You know,
right.
Don't cry.
Exactly.
Don't cry about it. Just
know what you want. We're in a place where conventions are meant to please us. They are there for their fans. And the biggest killer in a convention is when they don't listen to their fans. So reach out, talk, say what you want. And if more than one person suggests it, they're going to be like, "Oh, okay, they obviously want this." And then definitely look into having it.
Vote, get your voice heard. Get out there and vote. Oh wait, no, that happened last year. Okay. Anyway. Okay.
Vote in your local elections.
Oh man.
Yes,
okay.
For more cons. Vote for more cons. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, done. I'm done.
All right, so quick wrap up. I'm Kii-Chan Cosplay. You can find me at Kii-Chan_Cosplay. I think this is my Instagram, and then it's just Kii-Chan Cosplay, one word, on Facebook. And I'm also Tiny_Raincloud on both Discord and on TikTok.
And you can link me at Amber Brite Props on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and also amberbriteprops.com. And I think I have like a couple other social media sites, I forget, but I also have a Patreon and an OnlyFans. Right now, my OnlyFans has a lot of bikini stuff on it. So if you like bikinis, like, check it out.
And our guest, Kai?
So again, I'm Kai Lockhart. I am Kai Lockhart on Facebook, on Instagram and TikTok. I am Red Panda Kai. And really, like I said before, you'll find a little bit of everything. You'll find some cosplay, you'll find some drag, and then you'll just find some stuff that you're just kind of like, what is this that I'm supposed to be looking at? I don't know, but it's entertaining. But yeah, and thank you so much for having me on. If you ever need me for anything else, I am here, and I do hope, I will say this is the last bit, Sexy Waluigi will be making a big comeback hopefully pretty soon, so that's awesome. my gateway into the sexy, not safe for work world of cosplay right now. So
awesome. And Sam
of ThermoCosplay, just go to thermocosplay.com. Has everything.
Easy. And I'm Jinx. I have a website, jinxcosplay.com, but on social media, I am the Jinx Cosplay. I know it's super confusing. And we're on Original Glaze too, so that's a new cosplay social media site
I need to message them because I'm not on there for some reason. I never got the email.
So they actually dropped my account by accident because they switched platforms.
I just don't think So I'm getting the emails and stuff, but I never got the activation emails. So I
Yeah,
need to
they
bug
have
them
a
again on
mobile
getting the activation
platform now,
email.
and there was some disconnect when that happened. So
Yeah.
message them; they'll fix it.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they're great. I'm on
And-
their Discord. They're fantastic. If you want, guys, go look at Original Glaze. They're a fantastic website. We have a whole episode on it. You can go check it out on our website at CosTalkLive.com.
And next week we're talking about cosplay mashups. And then she's trying to eat the logo. And then the week after that, we're actually going to be going to the Selfie Museum here in Arizona and kind of walking you guys through seeing what Pixie Pros is doing.
Because we've got some news coming soon, right, Sam?
Yes.
Okay. And then, guys, we have a Discord too, so we're growing our Discord. I just threw the link in the chat. We stream on 3 platforms on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch every Sunday, 12 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So you can catch us. Guys, we love to hear from you. Suggestions on subjects, guests, anything. Please write to us. We love it. And we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in every week. We do this for us and for you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you to our guest, Kai, Lockhart, and of course, our usual hosts. Guys, we love you. Have fun, be safe, and stay cool out there. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.